And we're live. So let's see. Let's start with having everybody do their icon rolls. That you should also be able to do from your sheet.
Icon roll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And as you can see, the 5s and 6s have icons to make it more immediately visible if you succeeded or not.
Woo! Got 2 5s.
Couple of 5s. Cord's got a 6 with. Yeah, I think that's actually it. Did we get everything from Gem? Yeah, we did get everything from Gemaveth. All right. All right. Who wants to start the recap? I'm gonna have everybody recap their stuff individually, since it was generally um, character specific to some extent. So who wants to start? Let me rephrase. Who wants to start?
I didn't have a whole lot anyway, so yeah. Basically, on my end, I penned a letter, sent it off to my mentor. Sent that via House Madani.
No, it's not
I keep forgetting
Madani.
that house.
I think it's Civis.
Civis, I think that's right. But the letter carrier house, Pony Express house. So I sent it via those guys, so I'd get there quickly. It was pretty much straightforward. I just wanted some insight, maybe from an old vet, see if he knew anything about the goings on of the individuals, the Emerald Claw, and if he had heard any rumblings currently, because even though he's technically retired, we know there is no such thing as retirement for men of his
Ability.
Stature. His ability, stature, skill.
Rank.
So, pen that letter, and then I ended up getting accosted by my little guard friend while I was running around in my sister guise, or face, as it were. And so he followed me around a little bit, and he didn't really have much new information for me to go on. He was just kind of talking about the guard was being looped in on. The guard just now seemed to be getting looped in on the goings on of our vampire friend's rampage. And so he kind of brought those things up, and I toyed with him a little bit. Just kind of, I knew exactly what was going on. I just kind of acted like I was, I don't know, reading his mind or foretelling the future or whatever. And just kind of laid it all out for him, and he was really surprised that I was able to tell exactly what happened, even though I did it in a joking fashion. And then he ran off, so no new information from him. And really, honestly, just kind of waiting for all of us, I think, to get back together so we could start sharing information. I mean, in a meta gameplay sort of way, I think a lot of us are coming across the same information about the house that was responsible for the creation of the Warforged. And again, I'm forgetting the name of the house.
Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing some stuff in the Undercity, the darker, less patrolled areas of the city. They were certainly up to something, and it might behoove us taking a look at it. So certainly just waiting to see if when we all finally hook back up and trade notes. But I think that's about it.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Cord will go. Cord had his meeting with his instructor, Baron, and found out essentially that one of his co-students under his under his like disguise, his cover, as being a student. One of the ones that he's usually run in with a couple of times might be working under. It was Kenneth as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and so he is trying to figure out what's going on with her. To that end, my professor slash mentor decided to make sure that, running in lines with the student stuff, that we would have our finals come up, and then I would have a chance to meet with her and talk with her. Of course, Cord sees this finals as a competition, so he almost pretty much ignored everything else and decided that he had to make the best thing possible. So he's been holed up in his apartment, lab area, working on his architecture stuff on his final project. So beyond anything that, he's been out of the loop on all of that stuff.
Okay.
And really, I mean, at this point, it's just he's been working on that and trying to finish up on that stuff. So it's kind of just, side items at that point.
All right. Which one of the Florida contingent wants to go first?
I will. Give me just a second. Just getting everybody's notes because I missed some of this last time. All right, so Gemma was in, it was visiting some sick orcs, and they were sending medicines down to the orcs. She was kind of hanging out to see if the medication was working, and in the meantime got some samples, some blood and tissue samples, to take back to someone who could test them to find out what this disease, this mysterious disease is. She and Caleb discussed the wizard Mordain needing to be looked at a little bit more closely. So Caleb volunteered to get some more information on him, specifically why he was expelled and not killed based on the experiments that he was apparently performing while in school. Caleb's going to go to Ondair to look around. He's going to pick up a job in Sharn, which will take him to Ondair so that he can ask around. While he's there, Gemma asked him to look into the rumors that the Ashbound are causing troubles with the farmers and rangers in Ondair, and determine if the Ondarians are seeing this as an attack by the Druids, or if they're planning on retaliating, or just what the general feeling from the Ondarians is regarding this. So Caleb decided to go to the Arcanics, where he could get both the information about Mordain and about the attacks by the Ashbound. Sorry. They decided to take a long way home to Sharn, and basically, give him about 8 weeks, and if I don't hear something, come looking for him. And we're stopping in Marches to pick up some cargo, so his trip is not wasted, even though he's already made a generous profit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And now I'm hearing feedback from somebody. And now I'm not. Much better. And lastly, Shwandi.
Okay. I'm a little bit curious as to how much any of this is going to apply anymore, but let's go for it. I have been hanging out with Pearl, and we were getting ready to go down into pretty much go tackle a rather sinister form of the Emerald Claw that's kind of, as Emerald Claw is to the Blood of Vol, these guys are to Emerald Claw. They take the whole worship of life and blood thing to a whole new level, necromantic in fact, and are kind of, they're considered to be a perverse sect of the Emerald, or of the Blood of Vol.
Is it Blood of Vol or Blood of Claw?
Well, Emerald Claw is Blood of Vol.
Okay.
the Pearl kind of picked me to go with her because I know about Blood of Vol and I have some link there, so I might be a little bit more prepared for the goings on. I was relying on her primarily for her knowledge of the criminal underbelly. I was going to try to... We split up in an effort to look for more information, me going up top, realizing that if they were operating with the amount of persuasion, money, and secrecy that they are, they probably have some sort of a fortifying backer in the upper echelons. And I was going to see if any of my contacts up top had knowledge, murmurings, or whereabouts on that. Whereas she was going to do the look around in the lower city and the cogs to be able to see if she couldn't pick up her own information on murmurings, mutterings, and general know-hows.
Mm-hmm. It's still relevant. I mean, just because Darrett isn't going to be playing doesn't mean that the character is going to completely disappear. She's just going to be an NPC from here on out. How much she stays relevant, period, is probably not so much. But that's a bridge we'll have to burn later on. So, all right. So there is the way things stand right now. It's been about 2 weeks. You guys have been doing your things for about that long, give or take. You've been doing your own. Besides the investigative part, you've been doing your the kind of day-to-day mundane things that you do whenever you're not directly working for the Lanterns, the Citadel. By this point, Gemabeth has gotten back into town, fresh off the airship, as it were. Oh man.
Did I split it in Caleb's profit?
Just split it? No.
Take a portion as part of his crew.
What's that?
Take a portion as part of his crew.
That you can do, yes. You'll get a crew share for the whole endeavor. Yeah, Wraith, you still haven't heard back from your mentor yet, which has been unusual. You thought you might have done that before now. It's not something to be worried about just yet, but you thought you would probably have heard back from him by now. And let's see, Cord, you're still working on that stuff. Yeah, let's go with Cord first. So you've been kind of on your own, doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Getting ready for these finals. So what are you making for this? What are you working on?
All right. So find it here. Cord doesn't ever really do anything kind of half-assed, and so he's been working on trying to create. Well, what I wrote is the outer shell looks something like an octopus if it were hanging on a hook from the pier. Long metallic tentacles limply droop from the medium-sized silver globe. The globe itself is maybe 1.5 feet in diameter, but the long metallic arms held no fingers, making the entire body span almost 5 feet. Basically, he's hoping at this point that he can figure out a way to make it float, and then using the gears and stuff inside to basically create a floating octopus to do things, to hold things, to push buttons, move things around, an automaton at this point. But he hasn't necessarily gotten it to do anything. He's gotten the shell, and he can. All the pieces will move if you have something that moves them. He just doesn't have something to move it or make it float like he wants. His idea at this point, though, is that after being on the airship, maybe he could figure out a way to get a teeny tiny elemental in there and see if it could float around. And that's his hypotheses at this point.
Well, it wouldn't just be an elemental. You'd need to have a dragon shard and bind the elemental to that. With
Okay.
that being said, the theory is entirely sound, considering that's functionally the same way that airships work, and not just airships, but other elementally powered vehicles like land carts and elemental galleons. They work by functionally the same principle. It's just the airships are the most relevant to what you're attempting to do here, which is, make a floating octopus.
Yeah. The floating octopus.
So, getting the dragon shard you need, in this case you need, I can't remember. Oh, let me see. So I have the book. Let's look at this. Because you need a very specific kind of dragon shard, and I cannot remember if it's an Eberron shard, Sybaris, or Kyber. Because some of them are much easier than others. Yes, you need a Kyber dragon shard for this, which are maybe not they aren't the rarest, but they're certainly not the cheapest either.
The which shard?
The Kyber dragon shard. Khyber. Basically, Kyber is under the surface of Eberron. It's like the Underdark kind of areas, which explains why they're so expensive, because you basically have to do dungeon delving to even get to them, let alone collect them and get the hell out. And there are a lot of really nasty things even beyond the usual kind of Underdark things down in Kyber. So you need one of these, and you need one that's a decent size, so you can attempt to do the elemental binding, or at least the proof of concept for the elemental binding. Where were you going to look for something like that?
I was going to consult some of the school from the Fellowship of Fantastical Constructs and Wondrous Devices about how one would get to those, possibly using my contacts through the Zilargo nation.
The Zilargos are a good choice for that, since they do a lot of the airship manufacturing, and they're the first ones that came up with the elemental binding in the first place. So how are you going to approach it? Are you going to go with your contacts first? Are you going to look around on your own?
I would just go through the people that I would know. The main contact would be possibly talking with my diplomatic connection, Cam the Tinkerer, if necessary, or going with anyone that I know that would be from Zilargo that also attended the same school, the Fellowship.
Okay. Let's say you go talk to Cam then.
Cam the Tinkerer.
Actually, Cam probably wouldn't even be here in Sharn, so never mind. That's probably not going to work. Eesh, yeah. Yeah, Cam's probably not going to be... He's probably going to be in Zilargo in this case.
Yeah. So at this point, it would be someone I would need to know as a contact that's with the Fellowship.
All right, tell me who. Tell me who and how you know them.
Okay. Well, I'm very low into this, so it's there are a couple of people who I have been working in with the university, doing all of my the archaeology, the engineering, and the artifice. And we've gone on a couple of digs together, and one of them was a tall human by the name of... We'll go with Derek. Let's go with Derek for right now.
Okay.
Think of a last name on him. But he was the one who got me to even attempt to sign up and be, or at least knowledgeable of the fellowship. And from there, nothing really close in terms of actually, being anything more than acquaintances. But at this point, we've helped each other on different projects while I've been working doing the archaeology on assorted projects. So we're knowledgeable with one another. So he's the first person I'd go to about this. And coming straight forward, it's just, hey, I've got this idea for a project that's going to help me pass, because that's all I'm thinking of at this point.
All right. You find him in a university workshop. He does some work on the university campus here and there. He's not going to school there. He's not teaching there, but he has enough connections with people who are there, like you, that he's able to use some of the workshops sometimes. Sometimes it's for his own stuff. Sometimes it's for commission projects. Sometimes it's for things related to the university. But he's usually not too far from here. You go into this workshop and you see that he's working on some clockwork thing. Right now, it doesn't look like it's been put together enough for you to have any idea of what he's working on. But he sees you come in, pulls off his goggles when you're walking up, wipes his hands off on a rag around his waist that's arguably even more dirty than his hands actually were, and then he holds out his hand for a handshake.
I walk up, give him a firm handshake and a half hug, and Derek, how's it going? How have you been? What is this giant monstrosity of a contraption you're creating?
Well, right now it's a piece of junk, but if it ever gets past that point, well, we'll talk about it then. But right now it's none of it's fucking working. You know how it is. Sometimes you just get those projects that are like, this is the best idea in the world, and then you start to actually work on it, and it goes nowhere. So right now, that's exactly what this is. It's a big pile of nowhere.
Well, if you start getting it going, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. But
oh yeah, I think you owe me anyway. So
oh yeah,
but
see how that works.
I suspect you're about to owe me another one. What brings you down here today?
Well, I'm trying to make a project not become just a throwaway on this one. I've got a great idea, but unfortunately, it may take something that's a little hard to get. But I thought maybe you might have an idea on that. I might need a dragon shard.
I presume if you're coming to me on that, then you don't need a regular Eberron dragon shard. You need something a little more exotic. Is that right?
Yeah. Looking to the research, and all fingers are pointing that I need a Kyber dragon shard to create. Basically, well, I'll just say that it's one of my final projects for university, and it's gonna be the one thing that'll, help me pass.
Well, say no more. Say no more. Kyber dragon shard, huh? It's funny you should need one of those, because it seems like you're not the only one right now. There was a big shipment came in from out west, I think near Jerome. Came in just, I think 3 or 4 days ago, and it's already gone. Nobody's gotten a hold of it. Some buddies, as a matter of fact, has been buying up every Kyber Dragon shard that they can get their hands on the last few days. In fact, more than a few projects that people have been working on, they've been finding that the shard that they got for it has been stolen, just straight up broken into the artifice and taken it right out.
Really?
It's I know Kenneth hasn't been spreading the word around, but I know that they're one of the groups who are looking really hard into it. But there's been a few others too. It's
what now? Well, I'm hoping to use it to help levitate a device, But do you suspect that someone's amassing these for a different use or for the same use? Because I mean,
Well,
do you have any idea?
with Kenneth, I mean, they go through a fair amount of dragon shards. Period. It's not totally unheard of for them to be working on something big that they suddenly need a big supply of dragon shards for. I'm not sure why they'd be needing Kyber, but it's not it's not unusual, I guess. Not excessively unusual anyway. For the rest, though, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, even Kenneth, they usually don't need this many all at once. To say Kyber Dragon Shards they're useful. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but
Well, this bothers me because this is the second time Kenneth has come up in so many conversations.
it's hard to get away from Kenneth's influence here. But what have you heard? What else have you heard?
Well, nothing along the lines of just things that are getting in the way of my projects. I'm trying to finish these projects, and they're buying up all of my dragon shards, or I've got other friends who are working around with them, and it's very disconcerting at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, Kenneth's it's a big player here in Sharn, so it's
Driving
it's
me
hard to
nuts.
get out from under their shadow sometimes. But even so, it's I don't know. They've
Maybe I'll have to ask around and see if any of anyone I know knows anyone in Kenneth who can maybe secure me a shard then.
yeah, because I'm not sure when there might be more coming through. You know how Kyber Dragon Shards are. They're inconsistent on how often they're in market. Maybe that's just why they've been snapped up so quickly. Maybe there's been a downturn in the market and people are just grabbing them while they can, even if they don't need them right now. That wouldn't surprise me with Kenneth either.
Yeah, those bastards. All
They
right.
could,
So, okay. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
yeah. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. I mean, I don't see a lot of those myself in just day-to-day work, but you never know sometimes. But I don't know. Maybe the fact that they're being stolen is a bit weird. I guess it makes me wonder if you're onto something a little bigger than you think.
Well, that certainly seems that way, and all I'm doing is looking for a couple of shards. But I do appreciate what you're saying there.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I'll let you know if I hear anything, but you never know sometimes.
All right. So yeah, Cord leaves, and it kind of things are starting to click at that point.
All right, what are you
But
gonna go from there?
At this point, I need to go back to my mentor, Baron Lawn, and I mean just speak with him about this connection here.
All right, we will come back to that then. Who wants
Yeah.
to go next? Anybody wants to go next?
I can take it.
All right. So what is Juandi doing?
Okay, Zhuangdi is. I have gone back topside to, for lack of a better description, places where I don't look quite so out of place.
All right.
The upper city is definitely more my speed. I can, even if I were to dress down, I would not. My general attitude, my walking around in anything lower than middle city looks suspect. I look like a rich boy slumming it.
Yeah, pretty much. There are places in the lower city you can go to, but not that many.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I'm pretty much going to be trying. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'm I want to go see my mentor in the Brotherhood of the, or in the Sightless Eye. He's a individual who's very well connected in the city, has a lot of friends in the upper echelons of society. It's just kind of the nature of the Sightless Eye that they hobnob with a lot of the well-to-dos and movers and shakers, kind of. So I'm going to go see him and see if he's heard anything.
Okay.
Do I... This is something that you and I haven't quite really nailed down. Is there a place that that the Sightless Eye generally gathers, or would I meet him at his home or a place of business, something like that? How would I get in contact with him?
They probably wouldn't have a specific location, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it would be kind of where, whenever you guys need to meet, arrangements would be made to go somewhere.
Based on the general concept of the organization, would I be able to send him a telepathic message from pretty much anywhere in the city, and just so long as he's in the city, he'd be able to receive it?
The city, that's asking a little bit much. The city's, there's a hell of a lot. It's like asking to send a telepathic message across Manhattan. It's a little bit, you probably need to be in the same general district.
Okay, so
maybe not the same elevation. Like you could, if he's in the high wards and you're in the middle wards, it'd probably work. But you'd still need to be in the same general area.
okay, well, I can pretty well expect that he's going to be in the upper cities, so I'm going to go up there and probably start in the.
You'd have a good idea of where to go to communicate with him. What I'm thinking. You may not know exactly where he lives or where he does business, but you almost certainly you'd have some place where he'd say, "All right, you can reach me from here."
So I'm going to head towards that area and send a message to him that I'd like to meet, preferably either somewhere near the University District or the Copper Arch, depending on where he's at the moment.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah, that seems reasonable. All right. So what is your message going to say?
Message is going to say, brother, I have returned to town, would like to be able to speak with you, have business of some need, and need your guidance as well as just companionship.
All right. So he doesn't reply immediately. You hang around waiting for a few minutes. You look a bit awkward just kind of hanging around this area, not going from place to place. But after a few minutes, you get a message back, and it's a location. It's a cafe in the upper city, and it's basically the same. It's basically telling you to go there and wait.
Okay. So I head to this cafe. Where in the upper city is it?
It's in the Central Plateau. It's in the Platinum Heights,
Okay.
which is the north side.
A little bit pricey, but whatever.
It's more than a little bit pricey. It's genuinely expensive. But you know that he's good for it and he'll cover it. And you get there, you sit down. They've probably seen you here before, I imagine.
Okay.
And as soon as you mention his name, they sit you at a table, a bit secluded. Nothing here is completely secret, but it's a little more secluded than most. You'll be able to keep relatively isolated from everybody else.
Okay.
And probably about half an hour after you arrive, so does he. And he comes over, pats you on the back, and sits down across from you. Signals the waitress to bring him a coffee. And he doesn't say anything until it's arrived, at which point he takes a couple of sips and says, well, it's been a while, so it's good to see you, though, Joandi.
Thank you very much, Master. I've been away on business. There's much that I'd like to speak with you about that in particular, but I think that that's going to have to wait. We've got I've got a slightly more urgent matter on my mind.
Yeah, I can tell this. You seem agitated, concerned, anxious, perhaps.
There's you of course know of the Emerald Claw.
Yes.
There seems to be a more fanatical version of the Emerald Claw forming and operating in the lower reaches of the city. They're dealing with necromancy. They're taking everything that the Blood of Vol considers sacred and perverting it. It's something of, well, in addition to just not being pleasant, they're harassing the shops down there. There's criminal activity associated, and there may be a more broad danger in their actions.
Perhaps so, though you know that you and I do not share similar feelings regarding the Blood of Vol and the Emerald Claw in general.
I'm no friend of the Emerald Claw. I have of late gained a fascination with the Blood of Vol. I understand that you don't quite share my feelings. However,
It's not so much a matter of feelings as that I don't see them as separate entities. I see them as one and the same. If they're the left hand, and then the other is the right hand, they are still part of the same whole. But I'm not here to lecture you about this. We've had this discussion before. You say necromancy. No, it wouldn't be the first time we've had a necromancer here in Sharn. I mean, to be fair, and there's nothing technically illegal about necromancy here. It's just generally found to be distasteful, and the people whose bodies are being used often have family who object to that sort of thing, rather violently, on most occasions.
and I seem to remember that the occasions where those objections were raised rather violently, as you say, enthusiastically, you might add, there was less than a thorough investigation by the swords.
No, the swords have little reason to do that. The wands, perhaps, but the swords have no real reason to crack down on such a thing. The Emerald Claw itself, they would be more interested in, but necromancy in general is not entirely in their purview.
Yeah, well, I mean to say that it didn't seem like there were any tears shed for a dead necromancer.
No, there very rarely are. At
Some
least
kind
not,
of focus, I suppose.
not here in Breland either. I understand they have a different opinion of that in Karnath, but we're not in Karnath, so.
My concern, the reason that I contacted you with this, is they are operating with a level of funding and audacity that flouts the normal. They're not going about anything quietly, and it seems brazen. They're almost daring the authorities to come down on them, but nobody is. It makes me wonder if they might have a connection to somebody among our echelons that is supporting them under the table. I was wondering if you'd heard anything.
It's unfortunately that's generally not the same circles that I'm wandering around through. There are. Damn it. Just a second. Sorry about that. Why must you just decide to stop coughing now? The dog has decided it wants to be a part of the session. And then she disappears again. Anyway,
Dog on stream.
she's not quite high enough to be visible on camera.
Just
then,
like a corky. This is.
Yeah. The legs aren't quite tall enough. All right, fine. Be that way. Be down there. All right, where was I? He says within the circles I run, I haven't heard of anything quite like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. I may be able to point you in the direction that might be able to help. Yeah, that's exactly true. Comes up, derails everything, and then walks away.
See?
Very corgi.
It's right there.
It thinks about it. It says, have you heard of a group called the Aurum?
The Aurum sounds familiar.
I'd be surprised if you knew anything more about them than the name. Even my familiarity with them is rather limited, but
I think I've heard whispers. Do you have? Can you fill me in a little bit?
I'm not sure that I have much more than you do. From my understanding, is they're a group of wealthy individuals, some of them nobles, some of them merchants, bankers, and the like, and they seek to expand their influence, their power over other organizations and groups. It's vague, I know, but nevertheless, it seems like their overriding goal is power and influence, and it seems certainly possible that they might be interested in expanding their influence over the Emerald Claw in such a way. I mean, I can imagine a group of merchants or nobles might find it very useful to have a group of thugs and murderers like the Emerald Claw, not necessarily at their beck and call, but have them, owing a favor or two. So it's possible that there's a connection between those two.
Do you have any idea? Are they trying to work with the Emerald Claw, or does it sound more like they're trying to subjugate and use the Emerald Claw?
They would, from my understanding, and I admit that this is extremely limited, the Aurum never seems to want an equal partnership if they can help it. They would prefer to have influence. They would prefer to subvert the other organizations and keep them at arm's length, so to speak. So I expect that they wouldn't be working with the Emerald Claw. They would be more seeking to influence them, to make them subservient in a way.
It sounds like more than a few of the higher echelon that I know of. I'm not overly surprised with that stance and view. I also, however, think that they're playing a very dangerous game where the Emerald Claw is concerned. Emerald Claw is not to be trifled with and will not take kindly to being subjugated.
That may be true, but neither is the Aurum, from what I understand. They have a great deal of influence, not only within the Five Kingdoms, but beyond the Five Kingdoms and within the Dragon Marked houses. If the Emerald Claw may be nothing worth trifling with, but neither is the Aurum. And I expect that the Aurum has more than enough to back up whatever play that they are making with the Emerald Claw.
The more
They
I'm
may
learning,
be they may be underestimating the Emerald Claw. That's certainly possible. But on the other hand, the Emerald Claw may be underestimating the Aurum.
the more I'm learning about this, the less I am excited about my options and possibilities.
It's a tangled weave, especially here in Sharn. But that's the whole point of the eye, isn't it? To see clearly where others might be led astray.
Well,
I'm not sure how much I can help you here, but what help I can give, I certainly offer. Still, one may go unnoticed where two might draw undue attention. So perhaps once you know more, I can help you in some better way.
I would appreciate very much, and you may be able to offer some small amount of help uh, during your daily meditations. If you turn your sights around the city and see what you can see, if you hear or notice something of particular interest, uh, maybe people going or acting in ways that are outside of the normal expected, especially for office uh, or personality.
Hold on just a second. I think I totally missed that. Can you sum up for me real quick?
If you could, when you're meditating and looking around the city, doing your third eye and your other practices, if you could look in on just anybody and everybody periodically to see if somebody is high rank in breeding is meeting with somebody of particularly low rank in breeding, things like that, something out of the ordinary, something just not fitting with the common. It may,
I feel you're overestimating my powers, my boy. That's not something the entire order could do, not in and of itself. I would need something considerably more specific to do as you ask. And furthermore, that would be I don't want to say that's necessarily morally corrupt, but it's pushing the edges of what I feel that we in the order should be doing. It's one thing to touch the minds of those we're looking at or nearby or seeing. It's another thing to deal with the hundreds and thousands of minds all around us. It's I feel it's unseemly. I don't feel it's something that the sightless eye should be doing necessarily. But that being said, if you do end up finding something more specific to go from, then perhaps I can help you in that respect.
I will do my best to be able to discover any of the heads of the Emerald Claw and the... It's out of character real quick. It's the golden what?
The golden...
The other group that we're dealing with.
The Aura.
The Aurum, yeah.
Well, the Aurum was one of them, but I thought there was an actual group that Pearl and I were tracking was
Oh, the Dawn Brothers.
Dawn Brothers. I'll see if I can't find out about the leaders of the Dawn Brothers or the Emerald Claw.
I don't know if it'll help you, but the one that I heard from the Aurum about is a merchant by the name of Talon.
Talon?
Talon. He works down in the middle districts in Tavix Market. I don't know how much he knows beyond what he told me, but it's possible that he can point you in the right direction.
Okay. Well, it's a start at the very least.
I'm sorry I can't be of more help to you, but you have to admit your needs are rather
Broad and confusing?
not so much confusing, but broad is definitely correct. But I'm sure that you'll find your way. That's what we taught you, after all. You push aside the distractions, push aside that which is meaningless, and find the truth.
Of course. Well, enough of talk of doom and gloom. As I'm back in the city, when I'm not dealing with killers and necromancers, is there any time when I might be able to come and meet you and practice our crafts together?
I was actually expecting to have a group meeting in general sometime next week. It would be perfect for you to come and meditate and reintroduce yourselves to our brothers, some of which have not seen you for quite a while, and vice versa, of course.
That would be excellent. I've been meaning to make reconnections and associate myself again with our fellows.
Yes, it would be good to have you back. I understand you're busy, but would be better for all of us if you were able to attend more often.
And
So-
what of you and your general life? Has everything been faring well?
No, it's been about the same, which I can't complain about. Things are good.
Excellent.
Thank you for asking. But I'm afraid that I need to be on my way. I have some business to attend to this afternoon. Please stay, enjoy your coffee, have whatever you would like here. Just it will be put on my tab, so feel free to have whatever you would like.
Thank you very much, Master.
So take care of yourself. Don't if it looks like you're getting in too deep, if it feels like you're getting in too deep, take a breath and step back. I know sometimes you have a tendency to be extremely focused on what's in front of you and you miss what's to the side or coming up from behind, so just be
Watch
wary. Yes, exactly. So be well, and I hope to see you again next week.
You as well.
All right, let's take a break for a couple of minutes. Everybody go bathroom, go get something to drink, do whatever you need to do. Just be back here shortly.
Raw.
All right. I'm back. The dog is back. Nobody else is back. See? Dog and nobody's here. Nobody's here to see you. You are not a lap dog, nor are you a computer desk dog. See? Dog.
Oh no, she's a lap dog.
Oh my
That's
god,
how
it's a
corgis are.
puppy.
That's
She's
how
sure
corgis
she's
is.
a lap dog.
Oh, hi, Maeve.
That's a
Oh, we're
puppy.
getting kisses. I see kisses.
There's a puppy right there.
Oh, corgi kisses.
Right.
Hello.
Aaron says hi back.
Maeve doesn't bark, so she's probably not gonna say hi. She barks at other dogs and bicycles
And bicycles. Apparently,
and-
bicycles
and-
are a thing.
and trucks, but not cars, just trucks. Because Maeve is weird. All right, lapdog, you need to get down. Yes, in the last 2 days, she's decided that she is indeed a lapdog, or more specifically, a chest dog. All right. Who are we still missing? Is the Florida contingent back?
Flow Rider.
I did not know that.
I guess not. Harf. Harf. I should show you what she's already done to one of those tennis balls that you got already.
Oh, what kind of horror has she put it through?
Ruthless
It's-
murder.
It's not as bad as it could be, but she definitely started chewing on it with the intention of this thing must die. So
It's gonna look like a troll doll, isn't it?
It's not quite that bad yet. It probably will be so. Hold on, let me grab it real quick.
The last time I gave a chewy tennis ball to a dog, it chewed the fuzz till it made a peak, and so it looked like a troll doll's head.
She's just trying to kill it.
Oh, it squeaks though. It deserves it.
Truer words have not been spoken.
Pretty much, yeah. If it
Well,
squeaks,
I'm
it
glad
must
you liked
die.
it. I'm
If
glad
it's
you liked it.
fuzzy, it must die.
You got all your stuff though, right? I got you. There was like 5 different packages. You got it all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything eventually showed up. The last Super Fight expansion showed up yesterday, I think.
Oh, that's weird. See that?
Fun.
I was saying that the Super Fight expansion should have got there before anything else, but I don't know. Whatever.
The first two, one of the Super Fight expansions and the main box showed up on the same day, and then the blue deck showed up yesterday.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
Well,
everything got here. All the Maeve stuff got here. Which, yeah, she's decided that since I have unleashed the tennis ball, the tennis ball must now die.
Mhm. You brought this on yourself. Ah.
She's chewing the living crap out of it on the floor right now.
Heather and Aurora don't like it. So,
And now she's chewing the crap out of it on the bed. That's her spot, apparently.
if the plan
Is Lloyd wearing a kimono?
I don't think I want to know.
before we get up to work, I get up with her until we get up to work out, so I need to know what time you want to work out.
Harf.
I was
Please don't be hyper tonight. I want to go to sleep tonight.
myself and then have you incorporated into.
Yeah. Why don't you ask a corgi to like do your taxes while you're at it?
She, like between 9 and 11, she gets super hyper.
Where's
That's
my
weird.
shoes?
She's like, all right, it's time to play.
It's like corgi golden hour. What's up with that? That's so weird. Mine are begging me to go to bed between 9 and 11. You can just see it. They're just like, oh my god, let's go to bed, please.
Yeah, no, she like between then she's like, all right, we need to play. We're gonna climb on the bed and chew the crap out of things. We want to play fetch, sort of.
Talk about it while we're at work.
No, fetch being
Sorry.
you throw it and then I take it and then I take it away from you and I don't give it back.
That's what she does with it is I'll throw it, she'll bring it past me, run onto my bed, jump on the bed, and then start chewing on whatever it is in bed. She likes to Superman. I'm sure, Eddie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She likes to Superman off of my bed into her bed to get whatever's in there.
We're here, we're ready.
Yeah, she
When
she
Freya
does
was
the midair corgi splay.
yeah, when Freya was younger, she did stuff like that. She doesn't quite do that stuff so much anymore. Actually, Freya really just spends a lot of time either begging for food or looking at me like I've done something wrong. That seems to be pretty much our relationship at this particular juncture.
Yeah,
Is
corgis
you wrong?
corgis in general are very good at that. Looking at you like you've injured them horrendously in some way.
Hmm.
That giving you that guilt trip.
Well, I mean, to this day, honestly, because I got so upset with her when she was younger, when she would mess the house, she really can't hear shit and fuck in the same sentence and not look like I'm about to jump on her with an elbow. She gets very upset when I use those in an elevated tone.
Yeah, Maeve is mostly adjusted in that respect. I don't no longer have to yell at her or clean too much up. It's only the occasional accident, but generally she's pretty good.
But it's good. They learn really fast. You'll if you haven't seen it already, you'll see it. Really,
No, she's really smart. She knows things. Like if she hears my keys, she knows to get ready to go run for the front door because she wants to go somewhere. Even if I'm just getting on shoes, she's like, all right, we got to go check some shit out. We got to see if we can come out the front door with us. So yeah, she's pretty smart. But let us put that aside and continue onward. I'm gonna make my ugly mug go away, and we will continue with Gemaveth.
Yo.
You're just off the the ship, and what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go back to my digs at the university.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
contact the rest of the team, see what's going on.
All right, so you head back to the university. Everything's pretty much the way you'd expect it to be. Everything is a little dusty, a little dirty, but your quarters are otherwise entirely the way they were left behind before. How are you going to contact the rest of the team?
I'm gonna go to the only place that I know that is associated with the other team members is Dee's shop. So I'm gonna go to Dee's shop and leave a note for him there.
Okay. Are you going to do anything else to get a hold of anybody else?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Sorry, food stuck in my teeth. My meeting with running into Rose and spending time with Rose has made me really think about Daisy. So I'm gonna go and check in on Daisy as well.
Okay.
I don't want to tell her.
Let me
Nice. I'm sorry.
refresh myself with Daisy. All right. So where does Daisy live? Tell me where Daisy lives.
She also lives in the University District.
Okay. Does she live in an apartment? She live in student dorm?
Just a second. She doesn't. Yeah, she lives in a student dorm. She's gone back to school.
All right. So you go to where you know her dorm is. It's no. There's really nothing more to add to that. So you go to where your dorm is. What are you gonna do?
Hopefully, I'm gonna talk to her if she's there.
All right. So you knock on her door, and after a few minutes, you hear her voice coming from inside, saying, "Who's there?"
It's Gemma.
You hear kind of stumbling around, like someone got up really quickly, and a moment later, you hear the locks on the door coming undone, and she opens up the door.
I give her a big hug and ask, and hey, sweetheart, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a little while. May I come in?
Sure, absolutely. Come on in. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
So what brings you around here, Gemma?
Like I said, it's been a while. I want to see my friend, catch up.
I appreciate it. It's been I apologize. I've just been so busy with school this last term. I haven't had a chance to get out.
I definitely remember those days.
Yeah,
Anybody,
I'm sure you do.
anybody new or interesting or exciting in your classes?
Not really. It's been. I mean, I've been working with people. Some of the, you know how the university is. A lot of group projects. A lot of working with other people. That whole idea where people learn better together than they do alone, and all that. I don't know how much I believe it. I mean, I've been working with a lot of people, but it hasn't left a lot of time for being friends and doing just relaxing things.
Really? So no going out after classes to discuss what you've learned or anything like that?
There's been some of that, but even then, it's been, it's focused on doing the work. It's focused on, all right, not so much let's have a good time, but all right, let's review so we can pass our exams in a week, and so on and so forth. So it wears you down. And that's been the case for all of us. Not we. I don't think anybody's really made friends. We made study buddies. We know who we can rely on to do their end of a group project, but friends is, pushing things a little bit.
You guys sound like a bunch of laughs.
It's been a hard semester. I mean, that's part of why I haven't been able to go out and see anybody, you included. It's just been almost too much to deal with. I might take a term off just to breathe.
Is there anything else is there anything I can do to help?
Well, you can stay here and hang out with me. It'd be nice to have a friendly face around when we're not talking about the usual projects and the papers we have to write or the books we need to go and check out from the library and so on and so forth. It just help me relax a little bit, I guess.
I'll tell you what. Why don't I just got off a boat with from my dear friend, and he's paid me a little bit. Why don't we go out for coffee?
That would be lovely. I haven't been out for a good cup of coffee in a while. I mean, I've had coffee. You know how it is in university. You have to have something to help keep you awake. But a good cup. But all right. So yeah, did you want to do that now, or did you want to make a date for a later day, or?
Well, what's going to work for you?
Well, maybe I shouldn't go today, but yeah, no, let's go now. So you're here already. You're making the offer. Let's go have a cup of coffee or two.
Excellent.
So I know a couple of nice places. I mean, we can go by Denius and see if there's any gnome shops open, I guess. Is that all right with you?
Sure.
I mean, it's been a while so I can't remember what kind of coffee you like.
As long as it's black and sweet and creamy, I'm happy.
Yeah, but then again, you say that for a lot of things, so
That's true.
Whether it's just coffee or not, I'm not sure.
You know me too well.
Not well enough apparently, since I've not been keeping up with you. So what have you been up to of late?
Well, let's see. You know what? Let's get to the coffee shop and talk first, so that way we can be seated and comfortable and have our coffee ready to go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So the two of you make your way to one of the adjacent districts. It's largely a gnome district, mostly influenced by Zalargo, though some of the other areas where gnomes are really prevalent made their influence as well. But it's almost, in some people call it Little Zalargo, and it's pretty obvious where the name gets where it gets that name.
Okay.
So,
I assume we find a coffee shop.
yes. Just a sec. Here we go. So you guys get settled in. It's a pretty nice coffee shop. It's one of those coffee shops where you're kind of expected to sit around and spend a couple of hours just kind of at your leisure. A lot of people are there reading books. You see some people there who are doing some writing. More than a few people who are there just talking with what you assume are friends and family. And you two get settled into a couple of nice, comfy chairs. Definitely worn, definitely old, but nevertheless still very comfy. And you place your order for a couple of coffees, and before too long, you're both sipping away. So like I was saying, what have you been up to recently? I haven't seen you around. I went looking not too long ago when I had a little bit of free time, and they said you'd left town.
Oh, wow. Did I ever? I had so much fun. I had this little side project for work, but I got to go on an airship. It was really great, and I got to learn about the elementals and all the stuff on the airship and how it flies and all the different parts and pieces of the airship. I mean, different from Caleb's airship. This was like a huge liner, so it was like a passenger liner, a cargo liner, so it was way different from Caleb's ship. So it was really fun, and I meet a couple of really cute airship crew members. And let's see what else happened. And then we went around. Oh. Then I went on a fun little trip with Caleb to the Eldine Reaches and got to spend some time with Rose. She asked about you.
Oh, did she? Oh, it's been years since I've seen Rose. How's Rose doing?
She's good. She's good. She seemed a little worried. I guess there's some politics going on. Some stuff with the Ashbound causing some trouble. She's a little worried about. Have you heard of anybody, causing any trouble, or any druids or anything like that causing trouble?
Not around here, but I'm a little out of touch, as you've no doubt seen. It's causing trouble here in Breland?
Yeah, sure, why not?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, I can ask around if you'd really like, but no, I've heard of the Ashbound, but I don't know that I know a lot about them. They're druidic sect, I'm gathering.
Yes, they are. Like to, I don't know, very elite. Think they're more naturalistic and I guess druidish than everybody else.
No, it's not all that familiar, but like I said, I guess I can ask around if you'd like. See if I've heard anything.
Oh, that would be cool. Thank you. That would be very sweet of you. I know that you're really busy with school and all.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very least, I can talk to my study partners and see if they've heard anything. Maybe they can point me in the direction, or at least give me a name that I can give to you at some point. But an airship, huh? That's I've never been on an airship. It's always just been too expensive. But maybe that's what I'll do when I take next term off. I'll take an airship up to the reaches. I'll see Rose, spend some time up there. Um, I don't know. Maybe that's what's best for me. I think.
Well, if you want a discounted rate, because you're right, they can be kind of expensive. I have a friend who happens to have an airship. You might have to work while you're on it, but he's pretty cool about that stuff. Maybe I can put a word in for you.
Yeah, I don't mind working too much. I mean, how long a trip is it up to the reaches?
Well, it took a couple of days.
No, that's not too bad. Yeah, no, I can do that when this term is over. I'll talk to you again about that, and we'll see what we can do. Finals aren't too far away, so hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later.
You just let me know, and I'll put in a good word with Caleb for you.
I'll do that. Thanks. I appreciate it.
So,
So
anything new and exciting happening around town?
around town, um, I've had my head down so much that it's hard to say. I can't think of anything really going on soon. I mean, there's the race, but that's not for another couple of months at least. And I mean, you knew that. That's one of the biggest things in town. And um, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not that interesting right now.
You are always interesting, Daisy, even when you have nothing to share.
Well, I appreciate you for saying that, even though I don't really feel it's true right now. But at least we're going to hang out and talk a little bit. I do appreciate that. It's just been so long since I've been able to really get my head out of a book for very long.
So what are you studying now?
Oh, I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm doing some arcane theory. Um, I mean, I'm no good with spells myself, but it's useful to have that base knowledge when you're doing it with a lot of stuff. It just, you know, if only just so you don't drink the wrong potion or activate the magic item or wrong way and blow yourself up. I mean, I expect you know how that is. But mostly arcane theory, but it's really hard. I think that the people who actually can cast spells have that one a lot easier because they can put it into effect and I can't. So, but it's important to know, and you know, it can go along from there.
So if you're taking arcane theory, are you learning anything about history or wizarding history or important figures in the wizarding world or the?
Oh yeah, that's definitely part of it. I mean, especially the biggest names, Mordenkainen and that sort of thing. Everybody, as we learn the theory, we usually learn a little bit about the wizards who pioneered those theories, as well as some of the other contemporary wizards who are doing interesting things.
Have you heard of? Tell me my Dropbox isn't going to work.
Your Dropbox isn't going to work now.
Of course not. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. I heard about this wizard recently, and he sounds like a really interesting character. And nobody's really sure what kind of work he does. Have you heard anything about a guy named Mordain?
Mordain? Let me think of that for a minute. Mordain. It sounds really familiar. Is he when is he still alive? Is he an older wizard? Maybe
But
the
he's alive. He's contemporary. I'm not really sure how old he is. I haven't gotten that much detail. I'm pretty sure he's alive and well now, but I'm not. He hasn't been in the public figure recently.
maybe that's why I don't remember him offhand. You know what? When we finish here, we can go back to the dorm, and I'm sure he's got to be in one of my books. We can look at him up real quick and see why are you so interested in him?
I just his name came up in a conversation, and the stuff that he was doing, it sounded, I don't know, unusual, but there wasn't enough detail to really hear what he was doing that was so unusual. Something about some kind of experiments. You know me, I just like hearing about weird and unusual things.
Weird, you say? Oh no, you mean Flesh Weaver?
Flesh Weaver?
That Mordain?
Flesh Weaver. Apparently.
What sort of experiments did you hear about him doing?
That's just it. I don't know what kind of experiments. It was just mentioned that he had been, I guess, kicked out of school for some experiments that he'd been doing. Then
you do mean the Flesh Weaver. Oh no, it's. Well, I know a little bit off the top of my head. I'm sure, like I said, my books will know more. He was part of the 12, and my understanding is he started to look into some forbidden magic. I don't know what kind of magic. There's a lot of rumors, but none of the books that I've seen are really specific. I imagine that those are, kept behind closed doors for people who need to know. But I don't need to know myself. But he started to look into some disturbing kinds of magic, and the experiments that he ran. I don't know any details, but they're said to have made other archwizards go cold, and you know how archwizards can be. They're a pretty callous sort. And so whatever he did must have been truly atrocious. I heard that he stole children, replacing them with homunculi so he could do experiments on them. They caught him eventually, but they couldn't kill him. And as you know, the archwizards they know a lot of different ways that you can kill somebody, and not a one of them worked.
Wow.
And every single time, no matter what happened, his body reformed, and he was alive and well and laughing the whole time. I know that they were going to imprison him, but he escaped. And that's the last I know of him. I imagine he's still out there somewhere. He's an elf, and I imagine he's probably still alive. I think, God, when did this all happen? This happened like a few hundred years ago. I think like 300 years ago. So he would definitely still be alive by right now, assuming someone hasn't killed him somehow. But it sounds like he's an awfully difficult person to kill. So I'm sure he's around somewhere.
Wow, it sounds like a really nasty character.
They bring him up as a warning. They bring him up as the dangers of of arcane power that you could be like this.
But they never say what he did, what kind of magic he was doing that was so dangerous, other than that he kidnapped children and experimented on them.
No, I guess it's to keep other students from getting ideas in that general direction, because apparently what it is so horrific that it once you start down that path, you can't ever leave it. You're forever going to be tainted by that knowledge. So they don't even want students looking into what he might have done.
Ugh, that doesn't sound fun.
No, they taught us about him, and then they basically said that if we ever catch you looking into what he did or what he's done, then you'll suffer the same fate that he was originally intended to. They mean absolute business. I mean,
Wow.
it's whatever it is has to be horrible enough that you threaten students to be put to death for even looking into it. I don't know that any student's been killed for it, but I've heard rumors that some have disappeared, and the reason that they've disappeared is for that.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Wow. Daisy, honey,
Yeah.
I just remembered something that I needed to do.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
Um.
can we meet later today, maybe, or tonight for dinner or something?
Maybe tomorrow. We can do lunch.
Sure. I'd love to know what you're doing for the race.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to keep you any longer.
Okay.
All right. So, I'll see you later, Gemma. Thanks for the coffee. It was good seeing you again.
It was great seeing you, and I'm so sorry for cutting this short. But we'll meet for tomorrow. I'll come by your dorm room tomorrow for lunch. Okay?
Okay. I should be there around lunch.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
All right.
I say goodbye to Daisy and race back to Caleb's birthing to warn him about asking questions.
So you can see there he's getting cargo ready, just directing people when you come up. And he turns around and looks a bit surprised to see you, and he's like, "You're back already?"
Yeah, I just talked to my friend Daisy, and I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how dangerous it was. You don't ask questions about Mordain. It apparently anybody asking questions about him gets killed.
Killed by who?
The 12.
That's 12, huh? I think it might be worth the risk. I know some people who aren't exactly in favor with the 12 themselves in Arcanics. I'm sure that I can navigate those waters.
I don't know. This is serious business, Caleb. I mean, they kill students for asking about him in the arcane schools.
All the more reason to know, I think. Now my curiosity's been piqued, and I've never been able to control that. So no, I'm sure it'll be okay. I'll be careful, and I know the right people to talk to about this sort of thing.
Caleb, I really don't like this idea anymore.
All right. How about this? I'll hold off until you can come with me, so you can keep an eye on who I'm talking to and watch my back while I'm doing it.
Okay, I like that a little bit better.
All right. I'll hold out. I promise I'll hold out for now. But eventually, I'm gonna start wanting to ask some questions. 12 to 12.
This isn't going to mess up your next cargo run, is it?
No, I can still make my way to up there to Ondare and still have the usual. It'll just be the little side venture will be put off for now, but that's all right. I'll still be fine in that respect.
Okay, and if you get a chance to ask about the
The Ashbound.
yeah, them.
Yeah, that I can ask about a little more freely, I'm sure. Hell, given the way Arcanix is, I'm sure they'll be talking about it regardless if they're doing anything. You know, they just mages just never want to stop talking. Period. They all have opinions about things, but whatever. Yeah, I'll ask about the Ashbound. That should be safe enough, and I'll send you a message when not when, if I find out anything that's actually worth passing on.
Thank you.
And if I hear anything about Mordain without having to ask, I'll pass that along too.
Just be very careful.
I will. I promise.
Thank you.
Okay.
I give him a hug goodbye and head back to my rooms.
All right. He waves bye and gets back to what he was doing with the cargo. All right. So there's that. What is everybody else going to be doing at this point?
Well, I don't know if it's too meta, but I got that message, so I'm starting to track people down.
Okay. So where are you going to start with first?
Juan D should be fairly easy. If it's during the day, he should be in his shop. Or at least I would anticipate. So I will start with his shop.
All right. Juan D, are you in your shop?
After being just a little bit, not blowing up that tab as was so eloquently suggested, I do go back to the shop, and first and foremost, I arrive after Gemma has already come and gone, so I get her message first, and kind of start to try to get things together a little bit. I'm looking specifically to prepare for I've got a lot of nasty coming my way, I think. And I'm going to kind of get some things in order for that. And that's roughly when Wraith arrives.
All right. So I'll just I'll come into a shop. I'll come into a shop. I'll kind of give a look around, and then I'll look at him. And I'm in my Juan D. I'm wearing my my Shield's diplomat, my Ire, the actual Ire character. That's the face that I'm currently wearing. So you should recognize it. You should recognize that face, the sister face, and the standard Wraith face, our operations face. So I'll come in and I'll be, I'll cant to you real quick. But while I'm canting, I'm saying something different. So how are you today? And just kind of making small talk. But what I'm canting to you is that we've been summoned. 2 hours. We have 2 hours until meet time, and then I'll just kind of slide the letter to him, let him peek it with the address that I had deciphered, and then I'll be like, I'll wrap up the small talk, and then I'll say, have you seen Gemma and Cord?
I hand over the message from Gemma. Or did your message say where you were going?
It said I'd be back in my rooms.
Okay.
Because I didn't know where I was going.
So we can I hand over the message and say, well, that answers that question. As to Cord, I've not seen, but I can guess. You pretty much look for the biggest explosion and we'll find him.
Follow the drag marks in the cobblestones.
Drag marks in the cobblestones, something on fire, listen for screams of innocence, you know. Help, help, my son is on fire, that kind of thing.
I was going to say, screams of innocence doesn't really work. Okay, whatever.
Not that I have any doubts about his validity as a crafter, just, you know.
Just I'll go ahead and just give a smile and be like, okay, well, we do have a meet. See you there. And then I'll just turn and I'll head out since he's shared with me where I should be able to find Gemma.
Okay, well, I call back to him, hey, why don't you find Cord? You'll probably be better at it. You're a little bit better at the tracking of people. I'm going to go grab Gemma since we already know where she is.
Fair enough. See you in a few then. And then I'll go ahead and exit the store. And I will start looking for Cord. I would assume that when it comes to Cord, he would either be at his residence or he would be at the college. That's what I would assume I'd know about him. Being a student of artifice as he is, I wouldn't expect that that's where he probably spends a lot of his free time, is at the college. So I'll start with his personal apartments and then if there's nothing there, then I'll move on to the college.
All right, Cord, are you at home?
Cord is actually, he had just gone, he's at the university, and was heading home, so they probably would meet up about the same time.
Okay.
Because he's grabbing some stuff to get ready to go to get a meeting with Baron, but he hasn't found him yet, so he's just heading home first. Because he's like, oh, hey, all this stuff is not making a whole lot of sense. So, we meet up there. Follow your nose. It always knows.
Follow the scent. Follow the scent of explosives and screams. Okay, so yeah, you probably actually, I guess I would expect we're probably not far behind. And probably I put a couple knocks on your door. I was probably, giving a peek around walking around the front, seeing if there was windows or I could see anything going on. Probably about the same time you just kind of walk up behind me and go, hi. So.
And I'm like, oh, hello. That's it's fancy meeting you. What's going on? I've already put some stuff together that I was going to talk with Baron and see if I needed to speak with those who would need to be in the know. But it seems like your meeting here is not a coincidence on things.
No. And then I'll hand him the message. And basically, the message just says that we've been summoned. Meet 2 hours. Meet at address, and then provided. I've deciphered it all. So.
Perfect. Then yeah, got the note. I nod. Understand. Yes, I've got a few things I want to clean up. Make sure no one can spy on my sweet floating octopus that's not quite floating yet.
That's fine. Go ahead and wrap up whatever that you need to. Gather your gear and be here at and time. I'll propose the time. I'm not necessarily sure what time of day it was. Would it noon or whatever, early afternoon? Just be at this place, and then then I'll just dismiss myself. Be like wave a goodbye as I go out.
Yeah, I kind of absent-mindedly half wave as you go and start hiding the old octopus. There's something bigger afoot.
Hiding the octopus sounds kind of dirty, honestly.
Don't look it up on Urban Dictionary.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
This is going. Don't search that in Google. Hiding the octopus.
Hiding the octopus.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary probably has a definition for it that nobody should ever read.
I'm not looking that up.
I was going to say, I'm going to look it up as soon as I stop downloading porn.
You stopped?
I was going to say, he laughs like I'm joking.
No, we laugh because we know you're not joking.
By the way, just, point of interest, the octopus will float for all of about 1 second if you throw it in the air.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just
That's a lot
in
of
case that's helpful.
Ew, that sounds gross. I just saw a news article about 3D printed meatballs. That's gross.
Oh, sure, why not? Let's do it.
All right, back to whatever Wraith is doing.
Oh, no, that was pretty much it. At that point, I'm just kind of, this is technically off time. The off time shared between the diplomats. I've gathered my gear. I've announced to the team as much as I could because Joan D said he was going to go find Gemma.
All right,
I'm
then.
probably just going to go ahead and grab. I mean, it's probably what time are we saying? Like early afternoon? Late morning?
Yeah, getting into evening. Hold
Okay,
on,
getting
just
into
a
evening.
second.
Like early evening, probably.
I may just go to a tea house and just kill some time until it's time to meet up. Just drink some tea and I assume there's some sort of printed publication for Sharn since we're so advanced, like something similar to a newspaper or something like that, or a news sheet. And I might just kill my time on that.
Are you reading about the Credanians?
Hmm?
Totally the Sharn version of the Kardashians.
Oh, gosh. No, I hope not. But I hope and pray not. But orcs with huge heinies, is that what it is?
I'm in.
Hell yes. The Kardashians and Sharn are orcs. Make it so.
Y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong.
I don't even want to think about this, honestly. I've had far too long a day to consider this.
But that orc booty.
That orc booty.
No. Just no.
She's a mud hut. She's mighty.
I regret nothing.
It works entirely too well, which is even worse, honestly.
We will be contacted by the Kardashians' lawyer tomorrow morning.
Right?
Very likely, yes. All right, back to Xuan Di then, since he's the one assembling the rest of the Avengers.
Sure. All right, so I'm apparently really feel like going over to the University District today. I am trying so hard not to make Scooby-Doo references right now, by the way.
Zoinks.
Zoinks.
Somewhere in the university.
Jinkies.
Where your housing is.
Yes.
So I go and find one of those meddling kids.
Oh, thank you.
And you're Velma, by the way.
Okay.
The
I
hot one.
accept this. Headcanon accepted.
So I go find Gemma Beth. I should know where her quarters are since I hire her periodically. And just I knock on the door. Yeah.
All right, is Gemma Beth, are you home?
I just made it back.
Actually, screw that. I don't knock on the door. I knock in her head.
What?
I make knocking sounds in your head telepathically
Oh!
because I feel like being that creepy guy.
I'm familiar with his voice in my head. I boot him mentally out, making sure to give him a minor headache, and then open the door.
I smile through the pain. Hi, sweetie.
What do you want?
We're being summoned. Wraith came and found me.
Back to work, huh?
Yep. Got your note, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping by.
Anytime. I think I needed something from you, but I don't remember what. Oh no, I was just calling to say hi and tell you all about my wonderful time off. Did you guys have a good time off?
So-so.
Doesn't sound encouraging.
Did I miss a bunch of stuff?
Well, I learned that there's a necromancer in the lower wards,
Oh, fun!
and he's aligning himself with a group that makes the Emerald Claw look like pussies.
Yay!
They're starting up a racketeering business, and probably have the backing of an influential rich man in the upper wards.
Oh, anybody we know?
The Oculus came up.
The Oculus.
Oculus. Is that right? Oculus. No, wait.
Or
Aurum.
Wait,
The Aurum came up.
did you say the Aurum?
Yeah. You know him?
I'm familiar with them, yes.
Oh, good. We can compare notes later.
Not good.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Because the Aurum apparently think they've got big enough balls to take on the Emerald Claw. Yeah, that doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence in our odds.
They do have big enough balls to take on the claw.
That's good. I like when we have people all around us with huge testicles that just want to swing in our face.
And more importantly, they have the money and the ruthlessness.
Yay!
So when and where are we meeting? Apparently we have much to discuss.
I relay the time and the place. How far roughly are we away from the time of meeting?
at this point, probably less than an hour,
So we should probably boot, scoot, and boogie.
more or less.
I jumped. Oh no, I've been in my apartment, so I gather up my notes and bag and whatnot, and we head out. I'm really not good about taking notes of my own stuff. We'll get all this later, okay?
Raw.
You can always watch the video again later.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like work.
sure. We'll do that.
To be fair, I don't do that, so.
Not necessarily. Fine.
All right. So eventually, all of you arrive at a residential tower in Rattlestone, and you see that this whole tower, this area, has been cordoned off by the City Watch, and you see other members of the King's Citadel mixed in with the authorities. You see a couple of members you recognize from the swords. The wands are definitely out in full force, and amongst the chaos, you see Irvelin looking around, and when she notices you, she very tiredly motions for you guys to come over. And you can tell that she's just exhausted. She's been bags under her eyes. She looks like she has no energy whatsoever. She's dressed in her uniform as one of the King's Wands.
Oh, okay. So that wouldn't be as weird to just talk to a wand than it would be to like.
Yeah, she's definitely a part of the Wands. That's her not necessarily cover.
Public face.
Yeah, that's her public face, not necessarily a cover. But she motions for you guys to come over and motions for you guys to go inside. She says, we've got something strange on this one. They called the Wands in this morning, and from there I heard about it, and I think we're going to be doing a little side investigation on this one just in case the Wands don't find anything, but...
If you say necromancy, I'm going to be very upset.
Not necromancy, but unusual, I'll say this. This first floor is fine, but you might want to be careful walking up the stairs. They're still a little slippery. And that's when you look over at the stairs, you see that they are... It's like a blood waterfall has gone down the stairs. There's a small pool at the bottom of the stairs, but every stair going up to the next floor is covered. Here's what as you guys start going up the stairs, she says, "Here's what we know. Last night, somewhere estimated around 10 p.m. Oh boy, that's going to be a thing from now on. Somewhere around 10 p.m., most of the residents were asleep. And something happened which we haven't been able to yet determine, but we've done some scrying, we've done some augury, some divination magic, and we've been able to get an idea of what happened. At exactly 10 p.m., every sleeping person in this tower woke up, left their apartments, and began to viciously attack any other person that they saw. And I say saw with a very loose definition, because as far as we can tell, all of them were still asleep. They tore each other to pieces without a sound, without a noise, without speaking a word, and they tore each other to pieces, quite literally to pieces. The ones who survived these encounters crawled, drugged themselves, whatever they had to do until they found something else or they died. It's... to say it's unusual is really honestly not giving it enough credit. We've never seen something like this. The people who were awake were unharmed. They were left alone. The sleeping attackers would just pass them by like they weren't even there. Most of them obviously fled. And it's from them that we have most of the information about what happened. But divination has backed up what they've had to say. We don't have any idea what's gone on here. The wands have come in and done a sweep. They haven't found any indication of mind-controlling magic. Not on a level like this. Not... if it were one family or a couple of rooms, that might be one thing, but the entire tower, dozens of people tearing themselves and each other apart in their sleep, because, as far as we can tell, they were all still asleep at the time.
No other tower?
No other tower, just this one. We evacuated the neighboring towers just to be safe. The wands have set up fields to detect magic, any kind of mind control magic that might be deployed in those towers, but we don't know if it's proximity that's causing this, if there was something specifically targeted about this tower. Right now we don't know really enough of anything, and that's part of the problem. We're going to need to be honest, I'm not even sure what we need from you, but I just felt we needed to be on the ground floor on this. The lanterns need to be aware of what's happening here in case this should be something far more sinister or widespread. It could be a weapon that they could deploy against Brayland. It could be nothing more, but we have to be sure.
I can't help but look at Juan D in this particular case, and then kind of muse openly. There is one sort of ability that doesn't necessarily leave magical residues.
And that's part of why I've brought you in here. I know you have skills that the rest of the lanterns and the wands and the Citadel in general doesn't necessarily have. I'm not necessarily counting on Juan D for everything here. The rest of you will need to support this investigation, but I know that bringing you in gives us a better chance of figuring out what the hell has gone on here.
my abilities end at being able to communicate with people. There are by no means, as far as I know, any people with psionic capabilities that could cause somebody to do something. You can read thoughts if you're skilled and you are fighting the person. But being able to force them to do something, and especially on this level, that's way
Well,
beyond anything I've ever seen of.
you're falling into a bit of a logical trap here. We don't know that it's psionics. We don't know that it's magic. We don't know what it is at all. My thinking is that since we can't find something with magic, at least not in this particular case, we need to spread our net farther. It may not be psionics, but we need to cover that eventuality, and thus, Juandi, we need to have you involved in investigating.
Have you only searched for mind magic?
We've searched for any traces of unusual kinds of magic, the sorts of magics you might not normally find in something like this.
The I two questions. Do we know, would potions or something like that leave any kind of magical trace?
I believe it would give us enough of a trace to discern it. If it was that subtle that we couldn't do even that much, well, it's something we'll have to discern. But the thing is applying potions to that many people and having only some of them be affected seems unlikely. And if it were if they'd somehow tainted the water supply, it would have affected many more buildings than just here.
Do there happen to be any dragon shards just hanging? Did anyone notice any? Like kyber dragon shards?
Are you sure you're not the one with being able to read minds, Cord?
Hmm?
We found this upstairs in the middle of one of the floors. It looks like it's been broken, but there's enough of it. Well, to look for yourself. And she brings out a small, about the size of a grapefruit, looking magical device. You can see that it's dented. It looks like looks like somebody either smashed it with something, maybe stepped on it or fell on it. Excuse me. But it's like a sphere, but the outside casing is like made of a like entwined magical circles if they were made into a three-dimensional object. And in the center, you can see that there is a small kyber dragon shard.
So
about the size of your pinky, maybe.
Ooh. Well, my fingers start dancing looking at a new device, so I immediately.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. This may be a clue.
Quick, somebody look for semen underneath the stove.
Oh, you're getting away from me.
There are no sailors under the stove.
Yeah, this is definitely something on that Cord's gonna want to take a look at immediately.
I'll ask if she has any. I'll ask if she has put any wands or anyone on. The assumption is if you're living in one of these towers, it's similar to own property and rental and owning. There should be records. Has there been anybody? Has there been a movement of people? Have there been new people who have come into the building and lived? Have there been any requests, maintenance, sort of maintenance requests, or if the possibility exists of towers having their own individual cultural kind of little, mini cultural events? Was there some significance in this tower? If they're looking at the people angle, as it were.
That's what we don't know yet. We found this out this morning. Um, we should have known about it earlier. The people who were awake when this happened, they're not acting normal. They're also acting like they're under the effect of some sort of mind altering magics. But again, the wands haven't been able to determine if they're under any magical compulsion, and even if they are, we don't know what sort of compulsion it might be. They're acting irrational. They're very difficult to get any word out of. So it took us until almost 9 o'clock this morning before we were able to come here and quarantine the area. We've spent much of the day just trying to learn what we can from here. We haven't had a chance to look into records or any in-depth investigation. That's why we've brought Hugh here. We'll be able to support you once we've ascertained what we can from the scene, but for now, that's something you're going to have to start on. Check the records, check the people, learn what you can, and perhaps we can start putting the pieces of this puzzle together.
Well, perhaps we could start with Juan D. If we could find a survivor, Juan D. If you could ascertain the state of their minds, that would probably be a good start. If you could start there and see if you can glean any information. Cord, you'll need to. I think it'd be best if you start to find out what that is.
Yeah, I have some ideas.
Whatever is in his hands.
Yep.
What kind of apparatus that could be? And we said that this was found broken on the floor.
Yeah,
has
found in one of the hallways.
At this point, has there been any? Have we checked the high spots?
If there's more of them.
Yeah, like have we looked for more? Have we looked for some sort of network of these devices?
Irvelin nods. When we found this, we did a sweep to look for more. We haven't found any yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't any.
Okay.
That being said, I'm reasonably sure that there aren't any more here.
All right.
But we will keep looking. We will be here for hours more yet, and every person in this building has orders to keep an eye out for something like that. If we can find one that's intact, that might be what we need, period. In the meantime, we have to hope that this broken one has enough information to point us in the right direction. I don't know what it is, and I've seen a lot of strange magical items over the years. In the wands, every day you see something unusual, but I've never seen anything quite like this. It looks
Okay.
It looks almost. It looks almost like a Warforged related item. I could be wrong. It could be something else entirely, but it definitely reminds me of some of the equipment, some of the unusual things that I saw Warforged equipped with back in the war. So that might be a place to start. You might want to see if you know anybody in House Cannith that you can trust. That might be a good place to start.
I know a broad from House Cannith. I don't know how much I can trust her.
If you can find a way to...
You know what, Cord? I think I have somebody that I definitely trust that might be able to shed some light on that. Let me have that device.
You've got carte blanche. If you have to antagonize House Cannith, do it. We need to find out what's going on here.
Let me pump this source first.
All right.
And we can move on Cannith if need be.
I have a really good connection in Cannith at this point in time right now, who may be someone who might actually be constructing these. Go with your lead, and I hand it to him.
Okay.
But I'm going to see if I can possibly talk to this person without having that, and see what I can do about that.
Okay.
We've got a sketch cord that's already been done. I'll have a copy made of it for you.
Perfect. I'll take that. Yes.
And I'm gonna take the device since I've and Gemma and me we're chatting in the side here, but Gemma, I'm gonna kind of assign Gemma to apply her smuggler's knowledge and see if maybe she can find any of these other items stashed to see if there is a network or if there are more of these items, and that if they are responsible. I'm not necessarily sure how well that's going to pan out, but I think she may have the better skill set for it. And I am going to excuse myself, and of course not letting anybody know because my Ratcatcher friend, who is also a very gifted warforged and artificer, very gifted artificer from the war. I'm gonna see if maybe he can make something of this right fast. But that's what I would do.
Okay. So let's see, what time is it?
It's pretty late.
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop here, and we will pick up the investigation next time.
Fun.
Oh, this is fun. This is
Yeah,
great.
this one got super.
Shit got real.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mind bomb baby.
I've had this in the works for a while. I didn't want to spring it on you until it felt like your individual stuff was winding down a little bit or coming to a middle. Otherwise, I might have done this earlier. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one, I hope. So
It started off great, so that was good.
Yeah. I'm happy with how it turned out.
And yes, the Scooby-Doo thing I think is going to be a thing. I feel it. I feel it.
It feels like it's going to be
I think we're going to end up with like rotating Scoobies as the stories progress. Like each person's just going to bring their own. Oh, we need this guy to come along. Come on, Scooby.
Whose turn is it to be Scooby?
That's it.
Well, I mean, the gnome could actually turn into a Great Dane, so
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, so we'll play again in 2 weeks, which is the 13th. Yeah, the 13th. It'll be same bat time, same bat channel. Let's see. Everybody should try to work on your character sheets as you're able to.
I do believe I've managed to get it mostly wrapped up. Mine particularly with all my little individual abilities and what have you.
My ability is going to take so long.
But
yeah, some characters are going to take longer than others. If you have problems with it, let's break that down. If you have problems with it that you think are because of the character sheet and some sort of bug, let me know so I can pass it along. If you're having character sheet problems and they're just not working, let me know and we'll see what we can do to make things work. It's not perfect right now. They're still fixing things. We're still getting stuff to the way it needs to be, but hopefully pretty soon it'll be as close to being done as it can be. And in the meantime, we'll just have to work with what we've got there. The wiki link that's I think I emailed it out again, but that Lloyd brought up last time. That's a good place to start for the syntax and stuff like that you need to be able to program the macros. But if you're not sure what's going on, let me know and I can pop on and take a look at it, or at some point we can arrange to hop on Roll20 and discuss it as we work on it.
Yeah, I'll have to send you a message about my stuff, but
we're still live, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's go ahead and end the broadcast here, and we can do the other
Bye, viewers.
stuff after.
bye.
Bye, everybody.
Viewers.